Like, all right, I'm just joking. These kids could not go more than 45 seconds without one of them making some kind of sound. Then the next thing kicked in. They started to get mad at each other, which was pretty crazy. How many of you heard of that term called hangry? Hangry, right? And so these kids started to get really angry with each other. Ben stood up and was like, shut up, no, you shut up, you. And it turned into this crazy thing that was taking place. Now, some of you are thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, that's my kid, right? And they don't smoke weed, but they have all that problem, or all those things going on. Here's the difference, and here's where the breakdown is. And so I'll kind of close with this piece of information, take some questions. Here's where the breakdown does. Kid that smokes weed, kid that doesn't smoke weed, okay? Now, let's say you're at your kitchen table, your kids don't smoke weed, and you look at your kids, you're like, all right, everybody put your cell phones away, we're gonna have dinner together as a family, right? Your kids will get upset with you, because they have to put their phone away, little sign of an addiction right there. They'll get upset with you, but they will still feel connected to you as mom or dad, okay? They don't feel isolated, and they don't feel alone. They still feel like there's a family thing going on here, and they still feel like they have people that support them. Does that make sense? Here's the problem that they're finding out with kids that smoke weed. If I have a classroom full of kids, and I tell a kid, put your cell phone away, what happens inside this kid is this kid instantly feels isolated and alone. And he feels like I have something against them just by asking them to put their phone away. So now you got a kid that feels isolated, you got a kid that feels alone, and you got a kid that feels angry, and you have a kid that's functioning on an emotional level, not an intellectual level. Is that a dangerous combination? Yes. There's a study out that's coming out that I'm working my way through it, and it's talking about the dangers of increased violence associated with marijuana use. And I will try to show you this video before I'm done. Because what happens is the kid gets angry or hangry, right? So now, let's say I'm that kid. I walk onto a campus, right? I'm feeling isolated, alone. I feel like people are against me. And I see this guy right here laughing. Do I think he's laughing at something funny, or do I think he's laughing at me? Me. Now, do I have to do something about that? Yes, I do, right? Because it's just the way that it's working. So you have a kid that's functioning on an emotional level as opposed to an intellectual level. This is just a small portion of what's taking place inside the brain. So please understand it. Unbelievably detrimental for kids to smoke weed because of how it's affecting the brain. I got about 2 minutes? 2 minutes. Let me take some questions real quick. This is like a tiny portion of marijuana presentation, but questions, thoughts?
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Do we know, like, just like with smoking, when you quit smoking, you have better lung function, after a period of time. Do we know if marijuana has the same rebound?
Man, I'm glad you asked that question. Because when they started to do all this research, I was like, this is terrible information, right? How do we find like a cure for this kind of thing? So what they did is they took their information down with a study in Boca Raton where they were working with people that had Alzheimer's disease, because a lot of this looks like the same type of thing. And so what they found out is if a kid who smokes weed for a long period of time, who stops smoking weed, who wants to like regenerate his brain, they need to read. And so the problem is, and I wish I had time to explain this, it's hard for the information to go into the brain, but a kid needs to read little small things, and the brain is just like a muscle. If you work it out, it will continue to work out. So reading is actually the cure for how the brain works.
But they probably don't like to read.
No, they hate reading, yeah.
When you said drugs, other drug, you mean you're using obviously marijuana, but like nicotine even? Can you?
No, nicotine affects the brain in a different way, but nicotine will have the same type of a little bit of an emotional connection. If somebody doesn't smoke, there becomes that anxiety inside of that kind of like, I gotta smoke, or that anger that takes place. So that's functioning on an emotional thing. Yeah, because all of us in this room are functioning off an intellectual level right now. That's what keeps us from all hitting each other. And so the thing is, once that's gone, how many of you had little kids, right? And you're like sitting down watching TV and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a good day. You go get a drink of water and they're both fighting, right? And then you try to bring them apart again, and they got fun spraying with a hose. And so, yeah, maybe that was my fathering technique, I don't know, but yeah. But the thing is, they just get on this emotional thing, right? And it's hard to back those emotions up. So that's kind of the same thing that happens. Other questions, thoughts, yes?
So how do you suggest in the schools then that we deal with this if we have those kids in our classes?
Okay. Can I think? Okay. Here. The key is right here, okay? Because these are two different languages. Emotion and intellectual are two different languages. And if you Google Ray Lozano TED Talk, you'll see this in great detail. Because once I've been working on this language right here, once I developed this, it's easier to talk to kids. Kids speak emotion, adults speak intelligence, okay? And let me know if I'm going way too far over, I can stop. Kids speak emotion and adults speak intelligence. A parent will see a kid come in smoking weed and they do the intelligent thing. Don't smoke weed because. And even though that seems like it makes sense to an adult, it goes into a kid's head and it kind of bounces out. Like if I told you, when you leave out here, there's gonna be a speed trap, go slow. Your brain goes, okay, I'm gonna go slow. A kid's brain goes, I don't know if I believe that. I'm gonna go fast to see if that actually is a speed trap, right? So the thing is, it's because they're functioning on an emotional level. So watch my TED Talk because it explains this in great detail. You guys, I am completely out of time. I'm gonna be back. We're gonna talk about vaping and then all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be around. Feel free to ask me questions. Thank you so much for this, guys.